Today is Tuesday, January 25th, 2022, and we're about to follow Sara Sigmundsdottir through her first training day on site at TTT, but we also have Alexis Raptis, Mia Gianelli, and Brandy McGoldrick.
That's just the reason why in those years I invented this. Because I knew there were going to be days when guys was going to be running all over this piano. And so I just did a little something which I hope would sort of identify bass. So as far as I'm concerned, my piano playing is sort of dated, and I'm just in the rhythm section, which I'm very happy that guys will allow me in there. And that's as far as my piano playing will go.
This past weekend, we had our 2022 Open Prep Camp. In those camps, we generally do some talks, some workouts, some skill breakouts, and make sure that all the athletes get feedback. Alexis Raptis was out here for the camp. She actually is also moving here to train. She trained and moved out here last year from quarterfinals to semifinals on her way to just missing out from the CrossFit Games at the West Coast Classic. Sara Sigmundsdottir, I've been working with for a little bit over a year now, and this is the first opportunity since I've coached her to have an opportunity to see her in Alpharetta and go through some evaluation of her fitness, her capabilities, and come up with some sort of a long-term plan to prepare her. And Mia and Brandy, they're always here. You know them, they're on our TTT team, and you've seen them in all sorts of our videos. So we took Monday off after the camp, and during Monday I had a bunch of talks with Sara, and she actually told me that she had made the decision to move here to train, and Alexis had already previously made the decision to come out here to train. So we went through the process of trying to figure out how to build some team bonding and have some fun training to start off the 2022 season. So a big part of training elite athletes is actually also the environment of training, the people you're training with. It's not just the nuts and bolts of the actual program design. So the first training session of the day was really an environmental training session where I wanted to introduce everybody together, suffer together, but also construct a workout that was beneficial to team athletes that do a lot of intervals and individual athletes who need to do interval-based training to improve themselves on cyclical machines. So the specific session was Alexis and Sara together as the two individuals to get to know each other a little better, and Brandy and Mia to practice teamwork. They went through 3 sets of 800 meters on the true form run, 60 cals on the rower, 60 cals on the C2 bike, and then another 800 meter run. And during that, they had to alternate every 200 meters on each run and alternate every 15 calories on the cyclical machines.
Round 1 is always a warm-up.
Most CrossFit fans know by now that Sara tore her ACL about 9 months ago, and we went through surgery and have been rehabbing to get her back to the highest level. This is our first opportunity to evaluate her in person in a training setting. So we wanted to look at what her run capacity was like, what it looked like when it was in a fatigue state, what it looked like when it was a fresh state, but also do it in an environment where it wasn't super high pressure for her or super high volume. So we had a running coach, Ryan, being able to watch. I cued her to make sure that she wasn't trying to overstride and fall off paces from beginning to end sets, and just said, try to run steady all the way across so we could get more insight into what her running looked like when she was a little bit more fresh, as she got tired from the machines, as she got tired from set to set, and what her response and reaction was like to it after she went through 1.5 miles of running intervals with the other cyclical stuff. People think of all team workouts as being rest recovery based because you always have to tag your partner. And they don't necessarily think that's always beneficial for individual athletes. But generally, when you're trying to get better at cyclical machines, interval-based training is super effective. So for me, this is kind of a fun way to allow athletes that are individuals to be able to push the paces, see what their competitors are doing in the same sessions, because oftentimes they're racing and have no context other than at the end of the interval, they're like, oh my God, they're going faster than me. They get some real-time data. So these team workouts, while they're good for environment, are also good to sprinkle in for individual athletes just because it can provide a really potent stimulus for endurance development. And somehow, Mia wore a sweatshirt through this entire cyclical session that was about an hour long and barely sweat. I think that she might be a cold-blooded mammal.
I never feel hot. I'm weird. Don't train in a sweater if you feel hot. Don't do what I do.
Mia.
So during the open prep camp, I did a bar muscle up breakdown for the whole group, and Sara was in the group. She mentioned that bar muscle ups were one of her fears in the sport, that they break down under fatigue, and I could tell that she really wanted to work on them more.
She is extremely physically talented and strong and can pick up skills really quickly. But one of the downsides to this is that some of the details don't always get worked out because you can bypass some of those beginner phases with talent. Now, Mia, as an athlete, I'm not trying to put her down, but is a little bit less physically gifted than Sara is. And what that meant was she had to be super refined in her ability to learn the positions to be efficient just to obtain a bar muscle up and to learn how to do them repeatedly and under fatigue.
I wasn't sure how she was going to take to technical cues or correcting, because basically we changed her bar muscle ups completely. And she responded to it really well. She was excited to fix it. She didn't pick up on it immediately. We had to do multiple repetitions to figure it out, and she was very determined. And I thought it was really cool that someone that's that high level and so accomplished was able to pull back and understand that, hey, we gotta basically build from the beginning here.
So the third session of the day was actually written by Coach Adam Rogers, who actually also coaches Alexis. Alexis is one of the best CrossFit gymnasts in the world. She actually crushed the workout at West Coast Classic that had all the gymnastics in it and beat some of the best gymnasts in the sport, including Carrie Pierce and Bethany Shadburn in that workout. Fuck, was Carrie Pierce there? Well, regardless of who was there, she beat them all and won the workout. So it was a good opportunity to give Sara some insight into what her new training partner is going to be like in a gymnastics setting. It was 21, 18, 15, 12, 9, 6, 3 of kipping handstand push-ups, followed by 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 of power cleans at 125 pounds. Immediately in that same rep scheme, doing GHD sit-ups and ring muscle-ups.
Anytime you have an overlapping session like that, you don't want to just throw one athlete a softball and let them hit it out of the park, because then it becomes deflating for the other one. When I was writing it, I was trying to think my way through, all right, so if one gets a little bit of a lead here, how long can they hold on to it? How long can they sustain? How close can the first athlete be on something else that's going to be a strength of the other athlete? So just trying to keep that gap as close as possible, and then trying to make sure that at the end, it's going to end up being a good race, a good push to the finish. We're coming off of the open prep camp, which is really the first time that Sara and Alexis have had overlap. I think Sara won 2 out of the 3 workouts. The big things with Alexis is I want her building as much confidence as possible going into the season. So she was 6th place in semifinals last year. We are super confident in her ability to be able to take that next step and get a game spot this year. Part of it's going to be making sure that, one, she knows that she belongs at that level. That means not necessarily beating games level athletes like Sara, but knowing that you can hold your own in those kinds of workouts. For Sara, we want her to be in a place where she's feeling challenged. Yes, she's hungry, she's had time off, she's missed all these seasons because of the injuries. We want her to be in a training environment where she is getting pushed, where she's getting that competitive edge back, because we know that she has the capacity to be able to compete for a top spot. So I think Sara, of anybody, is going to take that and be like almost excited about it. Not like happy that she lost. I would hope that she's pissed off that she lost, but I think that she's going to be happy that she's in an environment where she's going to be able to get that push often.
Here last year I came for a few months and I felt like I got 10 times better in like 3 months. And so I was like, okay, this year I'm gonna come, I'm gonna stay for the full season and literally put everything into it and see what happens. In my mind, I'm not leaving any box unchecked. And so I'm just really excited to be here. It's so great.
I mean, it's a pretty big step. I've been a very independent athlete since I started, so this is the first time that I'm working with a coach on site every day, and I mean, I'm in an environment where people have same goals as me. I mean, Alexis is an amazing athlete and pushing me so hard, and it's like you're going way out of your comfort zone in each session, while at home I would be like, oh, I don't feel that great today, I'm gonna sandbag this workout because you're tired or something. But like when you see other people being motivated and hungry, you get motivated and hungry. So.
And the final session of the day was me doing some technical work with Sara on deadlift. This has been a lift that she's not as confident in as maybe her snatch or her clean and jerk, so I wanted to make sure that we got some time refining her setup, her approach, and figuring out how we plan to train that moving forward into the 2022 season. So there you have Sara's first day of training at TTT. I think Sara has what it takes to excel at the top of the sport again. But this season, for me, is more about her as a human being enjoying the process. It's an exciting time of the year. The season's about to begin. We're 8 weeks out from the quarterfinals and 5 weeks out from the Open. We've got a team going again, a bunch of individuals training on site, and we're ready.
Is a triplet. In 15 minutes, complete as many rounds and reps as possible of 3 wall walks, 12 dumbbell snatches, and 15 box jump overs. Let the games begin.
snake. I'm a snake.
Is that a video?
Yeah. I gotta pull it up to mimic the body language, but I remember the voice.
Nice.